Hello, this is another minisode of Dissonant Waves. We're calling this Dissonant Tides for the minisodes, I think. I don't know. I'm Dominic. We have Riddle in here.
Yeah, we can call
Trix is
this
asleep right
Dissonant Splash for the time being, seeing as we're not really
there.
causing kind of wave. We're probably not even causing any bit of a splash either, but Dissonant Kiddie Pool.
In the kiddie pool. All right. And this is kind of a last minute thing.
It's now our first podcast recorded not using the Discord crag, so hopefully this ends up with some better audio. It will for me at least, but I'm currently muffled with a little bit of a cold, so let's see how this ends up.
Tricks
We
for recording everything up until now.
we have no real plan for this, so
Oh, in the Lost minisode, we rank stuff. I wasn't there. We rank stuff.
are we going to be doing that again, Mr. Domino?
If you feel like ranking things again, we've had a couple more episodes to rank some stuff. So
Yeah, so for those who don't bother to look up us, we had a lost episode a couple of weeks ago where we kind of forgot about Dominic, me and Trix, and we decided, well, fuck it, we'll create a minisode while he's out, and we ranked the albums. That episode's recording's lost, which is why I'm now doing this on OBS for the sake of not losing another fucking audio.
thankfully, we have many options. We can always switch to something else if we need to.
I'll probably have to get the details to the Dissonant Raves YouTube and upload this myself. So I am now the master because of this. Anyway, we ranked 15 albums, and now I realize I have to get Spotify back up because that's where my playlist is at. And I think we're done around 3 more weeks since then. Hold on. Let's do a quick
29
count.
right now.
1, 2, 3. We're including BTS, aren't we, in this?
I'm including BTS. I'm also including the week of stuff we haven't recorded yet, but I can exclude those if you want.
Nah, we'll keep them because we have a ranking for them. Yeah, we went. No, we only went up to Claypool Lennon, and there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 more since then. So yeah, we are up to 28. Yeah, I think up to 28 now.
Yes.
I currently do have a ranking of those first 15, but I'm going to not base my ranking off that because opinions change. So I might post my top 15 from that lost episode in the description of this. Anyway, how me and Trix did originally do it is that we kind of went as we were ranking it together, and we were kind of going from last to first. Now, that was a lot easier to kind of explain every album when we were only doing 15 apiece. However, since this has gone to a bit bigger, I reckon the first 8 that we do, that we kind of just pick it, do like a 10-second kind of explanation of why it's there, and then when we get into top 20, we start to actually properly rank all those albums.
Also have the
Like,
one thing you don't count, so I don't have to count that if you don't want me to.
Which one?
Ian Alexander.
Ah, yeah, the Ed and Alexander, because they're just singles. We'll do the Troye Sivan EP, but it's harder to rank singles. Anyway, where did I put my fucking...
That's my
I kept it somewhere as a smart idea. I'm just trying to find where I left my original ranking. Not a cheat sheet, freebie folder. Yeah, here we go. Dissonant Waves. Alrighty, so let's copy all of you, and then not actually, and just create a new folder. So I have that as a backup, and let's save this as rankings and today's date, which is the 13th of October 2019. Alright, we've got 28 albums. I think we go start off by. Well, I'll let you start off and pick number 28, and we just go one position each. So, like, you start off with 28, then I do 28, then you do 27, etc., etc., etc. You ready?
Number 28 is LSD.
Yeah, there's no surprise about that. Yeah,
And it's probably the only place you're going to agree until the end.
yeah, no, I agree. LSD by LSD is it's definite last place for me.
There's nothing to really say because we talked about it at length.
Yeah,
So,
that's right. We'll go the first 8. That will just be like quickly doing it. So yeah, I agree. LSD. What's your 27?
we're doing it this way. Okay.
Yeah.
My 27 is Hot Flash Heatwave.
Oh, by the way, you are writing this down, aren't you?
I have a list already. Yeah.
Oh, you already have the list up. Wow, I was surprised. I'm kind of just doing this on the fly, but I probably have to put it to BTS. I did not enjoy it. It I don't know. It just didn't grab me one bit. I mean, a lot of the more mainstream ones are going to be up here anyway.
Okay. Number 26 then for me is Diarrhea Planet.
Oof, that is an oof.
Yeah, you know.
I'm going to unfortunately do my first Australian, and yeah, Troye Sivan's Trixie. I don't go back listening to it at all.
Okay. It's 25 now.
Yeah.
My 25 is
What was it, 25?
Autism.
Dominic has been banned from Dissonant Waves.
Fight me.
I know. No. When we originally did the rankings, Trix put theirs incredibly low because, I mean, I put it high, but there's a lot of Australian references that people outside of Australia don't get.
It's totally fine. It doesn't have to be for me.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
But I put my 25 as an album that, look, Trix has said, listen to it, will get better, it get better, and I gave it another listen. It didn't. Tristan Sneaker Waves.
Then number 24 for me is the next week's, or whenever we record the next episodes, Sticky Fingers Land of Pleasure.
Again, just like there's so much disagreement with us two.
Yeah.
But that's alright. I get to piss you off now anyway, because I think you know what my next choice is.
Roll, please.
What? Drum roll. Yeah, hold on. Devin Townsend Project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see that thing the other day?
Yeah. I mean, it's an alright performance, but again, he still doesn't grab me with any of this.
Okay, and then my number 23 is the Claypool Lennon Delirium, Monolith of Phobos.
What's my number? I'm just looking through all of this. I'm probably gonna stick with Hot Flash Heatwave being this low.
Surprised. I thought you really liked that.
I listened to it, but it's also just not really that impressive of an album.
Who is the Last Dinosaurs?
See, the fun thing is I'm pretty sure all of you put that album incredibly high when you first listened to it. Trix even said that they were going to put it in their heavy rotation and just never did. I'm I've gone back to that album, going back to that review, like that whole podcast episode, gone to the end. Trix says that. And I guarantee if you people went back to that album, you put it higher on this list. For now, obviously, you put it here. I'm gonna put the next one as Bag Raiders. That's the
It's
first one of
20.
my. That's 21. Yeah.
22.
Uh, oh, 28,
Bag
27,
Raiders.
26, 25, 24, 23. Yeah, 22. Sorry. Yeah, 22 is Bag Raiders Horizons.
21 then is Tristan.
Uh,
It's kind of, it's like, all right, whatever.
just looking in the rest of this list, making sure I got everything perfectly remembered before I go for my next choice. Ooh. 21. I mean, it's a tough one between these to kind of choose here. So 21 because I find myself only listening to the one song off this album, and the only reason why I come back listening to this one song off that album is because I think it's just a good remix of the original song. So 21 is Crystal Castles. I only go back listening to Vanished. Everything else hasn't really grabbed me or anything. I think Trust Us is alright, but yeah.
Number 20 for me is Bag Raiders. This is the point where I actually start listening to some of these songs, probably.
Yeah. Uh,
Ones below I might do, but I don't know.
I mean, Bad Reddit's had a couple good songs up there, but for every good song, it has a really unmemorable song. Songs like Medicine and mm, sorry, my Pepsi and Lightning are still somewhat on my rotation, but
Really
yes.
like Lazy. So
Uh, my 20 has to go to Smash Mouth, but I don't.
okay.
Yeah, I don't hate the album. I've actually go back listening to a couple of their songs. Like again, Flow is a great opener, but I mean, yeah.
Okay. My number 19 is Adult Mom. I appreciate what Stevie's doing. I like their music a lot. I like the creation of it and like what they're doing. But this album probably but not an amazing amount.
I am probably gonna have to put. I'm just making sure I'm looking at the rest of this list. Yeah, I'm gonna put the Health album as my number 19. I think it's a lot more. Whilst I probably enjoyed Smash Mouth a bit more, it's a lot more impressive and unique to enjoy about the Health album, and I think there's some better execution in it. But
Uh,
they are very close.
my number 18 for me then is Violence Soho's Waco, which I like the sound of it, but I only like certain songs,
Hmm.
really. The taste is like the one, and then maybe
I
low.
mean,
That's it.
How to Taste is a beautiful opener though. My 18. Ooh. I'm gonna give 18 to Petite League.
Okay.
It's grown on me quite a bit actually, and the fact that you haven't put it out as well means that it's probably grown on you quite a bit as well.
I was pretty positive on it compared to what else we listened to that week.
Yeah.
So, it's Taco Cat. They're cool. I like their message. I like what they're doing. But
Hmm.
or I guess
I'm gonna put my number. What are we up to? 17? Yeah, my number 17 is Janelle Monáe. I know that's one of your favorites of this. I guarantee that's in your top 10. Top 10. But
surprised it's so high for you.
uh, I, I put it my kind of like, if I'm impressed by an album, by just the sounds they push out, even if I didn't enjoy it as much, I still put that higher on it. And as much as I did not enjoy the Janelle Monáe, because like I said in that review, the songs aren't really for me. I'm not a strong, independent black, genderqueer black woman. I'm a bi white male. But I'm still impressed by a lot of what comes out in that album, which is why I have it as high.
Is she genderqueer? I think she's just pan.
I
But
was, I think she, no, sorry, I think she was gender fluid or something like that. I think she said she was. I
yeah,
might be
I
thinking of
did not
someone
see
else.
that.
Hold on. Is
Yeah,
she,
my apologies.
let me check. Is she? She came out as a bunch of stuff, I think. But let's see. Dirty computer. I don't know. Hold on. Let's go to personal life if we can find that. I'm only gonna look for a little bit here.
Well, it says in the Wikipedia that she identifies with both bisexuality and pansexuality.
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah, maybe it was someone else who's gender fluid or that gender queer is adult mum, but yeah. Anyway, so you're 16.
my 16 is Troye Sivan. It is. It's fine. I like most of it except for the last song, pretty much.
Just taking a look at what's else on the list. I'd probably give it to My Chemical Romance at this point.
All right, that's
Yeah.
the one from next week.
And I spoiler alert. My Chemical Romance, Black Parade, there's number 16. And you got some great songs up there, like Teenagers, the title track, Dead, which is probably one of the most underrated ones of the album. But, I mean, it definitely peaks when they decide to do a cover of Yellow.
I don't know. I think that album goes for most of it. To that, I guess, in a second. But number 15 for me is Health by Health. It's not as much of a listenable album, I guess. It's not one that I turn on all the time because it's really abrasive. But I like what they do. I like the sounds. I like what they are attempting for sure.
Number 14, I'm gonna have to put as sorry, number 15.
Number 15.
I'm gonna have to put as Taco Cat. Lost Time. I'm still listening to some of the stuff off there. I love Seattle. Plan A, Plan B is still as great as when we covered them.
Okay. So 14 then for me is Smash Mouth.
Flo,
bassist that
come take your
singing asshole?
girlfriend back. The bassist who's an asshole, probably.
Okay. But like aside from that, I bought the CD. I really like the CD. It's not like something I put in heavy rotation, but I do like this album.
Gee, a musician's an asshole. What a surprise. That's the unfortunate reality. Alright. Number 14. Number 14. Number 14. It's tied between the next two, so they're gonna be like yeah, number 14 is gonna be Adult Mum.
Mom?
Yeah. With Momentary Lapse. Yeah, was in my top 10 last time. It
Things have changed.
Yeah, it drops down out of there. I think a couple of albums since then have beaten it. So
World is changing.
the world is an angry place.
Everybody make happy. Put a smile on your face.
And choose number 13.
13 is Petite League. Again, another album that I really like the sound of, and I think if I listened to it more, I'd get more into it.
The
I'd like to buy it.
opener is probably going to be in consideration for my top 100 songs of the year.
It's cool.
I
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I love the way it just goes, and we kissed on our lips, and then just, it's a great garage rock song.
Yeah.
My number 13. These ones are all kind of a bit tied here. I'm gonna have to put Plush as
Okay.
number 13 with Stranger to the Pain.
It's also from next week.
Mm.
So if you haven't heard about it yet, just keep waiting.
You're waiting. They're a great shoegaze band, and I totally love being called that.
They're a pop band now, so
Yeah, we
Yeah.
only play real music.
it is cool that they recorded that in 4 days. I will say that. But anyway, 12 for me, and this is mostly nostalgia. Crystal Castles. I still like some of the songs in there. As we've heard by now from the previous episode, I was pretty raw about that.
Mm.
But, what it is to a certain extent.
My number 12 is gonna have to be Violent Soho. Scream.
I say it is what it is about Crystal Castles. I mean, just like my attachment is songs, not what happened. Anyway, number 11 for me is Plush. I really like Strangers to the Pain or Stranger to the Pain. It was a genuine surprise to me. And then just keep going.
My number 11 is gonna go to a band that I need to listen to a lot more, but I just haven't been. But I still, every time I do, I remind myself how much I enjoyed it. Is Claypool Lennon's Delirium's Monolith of Phobos.
Okay.
Top 10. Hold on. Before we go into this, just everyone remind yourselves, this is a major part of all the rankings, and there's a couple of albums that are on both of our lists here that have not been chosen. Obviously, you got Gautier, Neutral Milk, Middle East, Jungle Giants of Montreal. Those all have not been chosen yet. And then you got some other ones, like, I've chosen two, like, all of the albums of next week have been chosen in here. It's Sticky Fingers, Plush, and My Chemical Romance. I think I've got one of those not chosen, and he's got one of those not chosen. So there is going to be some crazy differences in rankings here.
They're like, it's kind of been that way already. We haven't had one agreement since LSD.
Yeah, well, you put Diarrhea Planet like 26 or something, and I still haven't chosen it.
Right.
You're number 10.
Number 10 for me. So this is the point now where this is like, I want the whole album. I'll listen to the whole album. I like it all the way through. And that's Jungle Giants.
Yeah, no, Jungle Giants' Crap Ferocity is... that was still my favorite of 2017. It's really their only consistent effort to date, but holy fuck, is it a banger the whole way through.
I mean, I bought that shit. It's really good.
Oh, you actually bought it?
On vinyl, but digital. I'm gonna get something physical later on.
Yeah. Alright, well, number 10. God, what have I got? What have I got left in here as well? So, yeah, this is the part where I choose all my albums and everything, and number 10 is gonna be Tism, Machiavelli.
I think that's one of our biggest differences yet.
Yeah. Again, when you understand a lot of the references and stuff, whilst I still admire a lot of these sounds and the sampling that happened for the time that this album got released, a lot of it's
Sure, yeah.
a lot of the fun of it comes from the lyrics and the satire. And you do have to kind of grow up in this culture to kind of understand a lot more of it, or in this country to understand a lot more of it. Like songs like Lose Your Delusion, where the chorus is turn off SBS. SBS doesn't play anywhere but Australia.
I'm still glad we listened to it though.
Yeah. So, number 10, Tism's Machiavelli and the Four Seasons.
Yeah. 9. My number 9 is BTS, Map of the Soul Persona. Surprise so far for me in that I just kind of pulled it out of a hat for our first minisode, and I really liked it all the way through. It's super good. It gets stronger with every track, pretty much.
Yeah. My number 9. Ooh, it's a close one to pick. It's to start picking stuff from here. My number 9 is going to go to Of Montreal.
Okay.
I've been listening to a couple of the tracks a bit more regularly as well, specifically Fugitive Air. Which, I mean, that's a great song. It just is. But I think everything else from here just kind of beats this album.
That's funny because my number 8 is Of Montreal, and this is speaking as someone who was a huge Of Montreal fan for a few years there, and I've grown away from them a bit, but I still like a fair amount of their music.
I mean, Polyvinyl had a sale a bit ago. My brother bought Hissing Fauna, and I bought Skeletal Lamping, which I need to give a full listen to.
I want to do some other albums of theirs so I can understand where I like this album now in context, because I didn't expect it to like as much as I do now.
Yeah, I'm looking at my past rankings list, and it's pretty much the same, like, order, and for my next 8. And I still agree.
Right.
I still agree with the ranking that I'm going to put this at is. So, I love this album. I really do. And it feels a shame to give it this low, especially since like it's all now going to just be covered with my albums. But Trix, thank you so much for recommending Diarrhea Planets. I listen to that album quite a lot now, and it is just so fun. But unfortunately, number 8 is going to be Diarrhea Planets. I'm Rich Beyond Your Wildest Dreams.
That might be one of the biggest divides now.
Oh, it is. It is even worse when you compare it to Trix, who had it at like number 3.
Do they have it at?
Number 7, where are we up to?
Well, what did Trix have Diarrhea Planet at? I didn't hear you.
Number 3.
Wow. Okay. Number 7 then is Devin Townsend Project.
Yeah, so
Really like that.
Where do I have that at? I have that as 28, 27, 26, 25. As 24, and you have it as number 7.
I mean, that was my intro to Devin Townsend, so I guess I have an affinity for it. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, my number 7. It's here's the fun of it. Number 7 is Jungle Giants Cry of Ferocity. There's just like no real much more talk. You had it as number 10. I had it as number 7. There's a reason we both had it so high. It's a banger, isn't it? It's
It's
40 minutes of great dance music. I mean, even the instrumental off there, which lasts for 5 minutes, is probably like you might think, why is that in there? Even that's just fun as hell to listen to. It's a great fucking album.
the first, like you say that the first 5 tracks are all the singles, and you're like, oh well, the rest
Oh,
of the
all the
album must
first
not
four,
be.
yeah. Yeah, all the first four tracks are just singles, and you might just go, "Oh, I'm done with the singles now." The album's like, but I deep cuts on this
Don't
are
stop.
great. Deep cuts on this are great. Quiet Ferocity, time and time again, Waiting for a Sign, Blinded, People Always Say, and then In the Garage as well. I mean, that's probably all of them right there, but they're fucking great.
Like again, I'll listen to it all the way through. I don't care. It's really good.
Yeah. Number 6
I
for you.
mean, number 6 is Gautier. Yeah, I liked Gautier because of making mirrors. So to hear this full version of the album, the Australian version, was really cool. And I know I said some things on the episode that I have not lived down yet. Goodbye, but that was how I was feeling at the time.
I mean, like Drawing Blood, I think is probably the biggest surprise that I put into this podcast so far, because Gautier hasn't released anything since Making Mirrors, and he is really seen overseas as only just a one-hit wonder. So, like Drawing Blood is almost a completely unknown album overseas, and so far both of you have reacted quite positively to it.
It's one of those things too where it's like, oh, Hearts and Mess is really good, and then I saw The Great Gatsby. I was like, oh, it's in there. That's really cool. Really validated for that. Only Boz Lerman would put Gautier and the
Yeah.
XX in his credits for a movie. That's great.
Number 6.
6.
I know this is the one where it becomes surprising that you have it higher than me.
All right.
Big Scary's Animal.
Really? Okay.
Every other, I mean, I love the album. Don't get me wrong. It's probably, I reckon the albums that are currently listed in top 10 probably aren't going to change anytime soon. We have done some strong ones to start off with.
Yeah.
But a big,
It's good that you have a variety.
yeah. So, top 5 are, this is the part where we just fully say what albums we have left to rank. I'll go first. I still have Sticky Fingers. I still have Last Dinosaurs. I still have Middle East. I still have Gautier. I still have Neutral Milk Hotel. We both still have Middle East and Neutral Milk Hotel. Everything else has not been shared.
And I have Janelle Monáe, My Chemical Romance, Neutral Milk, Middle East, and Big Scary.
Number 5.
5 is Janelle Monáe. Putting a computer on the first episode was kind of a risk, I feel like, a gamble. One that paid off for me, but apparently not for you two. But that's okay.
Sorry, I only just picked Tism, which has both been both of your bottom of your lists.
Yes, that's fair.
Only just above Hot Flash Heatwave. Like
Flash is like bottom last before LSD, so.
But I mean, that's just how I went. I wanted to go in with something that like I could have gone with one of the most popular albums of all time and been pretentious, or I could go with the truly unknown stuff, and that's why I chose Tism. Anyway, my number 5. I hate to do this. I hate to just get rid of it because I did just pick it up on vinyl. Same with the last one, but Last Dinosaurs in a Million Years.
I'll say for Janelle Monáe, that was one I just really wanted to talk about. Like in my mind somewhere, there's still a think piece I want to do or something, or just have in mind about comparing like David Cage games like Detroit to what Janelle Monáe does in an album. It's like it's night and day.
In a Million Years, you two have seemed to just kind of forgotten about, but you go back to it, and it is one of the most consistent indie rock albums to come out of Australia. tunes off there are catchy as fuck. Zoom, Time and Place, Andy. I keep listening to Weekend all the fucking time. Honolulu is fun as fuck, and it's got a
Fair enough.
unique sound for indie rock. I swear, if you guys come back to it, you end up putting it higher than what you got right now, because you guys reacted quite positively to it back when I first suggested it.
I remember correctly. I think I said that Last Dinosaurs was like the sound of the 2010s.
You're not wrong.
It's kind of ambivalent, both good and bad. I think.
But
Like it boiled down 2010s. One album, it's that, but like that also kind of represents some of the weirder pop trends that happened.
still, number 5, Last Dinosaurs in a Million Years.
Starting to cut out for me, so.
Alright, you're number 4.
This. Number 4, Big Scary. I think
Okay, you
Animal
can't
has
put My
claims-
Chemical Romance over Big Scary. You're fucking wrong.
We'll do that. My caveat is that on a qualitative level, Animal by Big Scary is a perfect album. There's no filler. It's all really strong. Everything above it is either really emotional attachment or just the sound I prefer.
Dominic, how emo are you still?
I'll talk about that in a second.
This is the part where this all becomes such a hard choice besides number 1. Number 1's obvious. We won't say it yet, but it's pretty obvious what number 1 is. God, number 4. Everything from here I consider to be even with Last Dinosaur's Big Scare to put everything into perspective here, from Jungle Giants onwards onto my list, I consider these albums to be perfect. As in, no change is needed. They have done it perfectly. So this is where it becomes hard, because now I'm comparing a shiny apple to a shiny orange, and I had to say which one's better.
I'll say that you talked about putting albums that you appreciated more versus liking them. My doing the attachment is kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say that.
Look, I mean, I joke about this, but like, it's your ranking. I'm not supposed to control your ranking.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think we kind of have our reasons for certain things, and I'm mostly just telling the audience this. I think this is part of why ours are so different.
Yeah. But, and don't shoot me for this, because I know you have this high. Number 4 is going to be the Middle East recordings of the Middle East.
Okay.
I know you and Trix have this much higher than I do, which is odd, because I came into this praising the shit out of this EP. With songs like Lonely and Blood always being in my rotation, and you two not only
vote randomly.
Yeah, and you two not only enjoyed it, you've ended up enjoying it more than I have. Which I think that is, if at very worst this podcast crumbles and we all hate each other, I have done what I've wanted to do and showcased more music for everyone to love. And Middle East is a big case of that.
That's fair. I mean, I hope to achieve that with something that y'all have never heard of at some point. One on here we've all kind of heard of, so it's cheating, but yeah.
Yeah. You're number 3.
3, My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade. Now here's the thing. I only got into My Chemical Romance this year. I knew Welcome to the Black Parade, as I'm sure most people did, just because it's a popular song.
It's considered the
as a
best emo
teenager,
song of the noughties, actually.
yeah. But as a kid, as a teenager, I was very much against like listening to that kind of music. I was like, at first I was just classic rock only, and then I became kind of a hipster kid and like got into random bands. It's like I'll just listen to Muse or something like that. I don't want to listen to all the deep emo shit or whatever. So I'll just be
Don't give me
screaming and
that
whatever.
don't give me that emo shit about wanting suicide. Give me that Rolling Stone shit about doing as much drugs until you pretty much commit suicide.
Getting into the Rolling Stones, though, I'll say that that was the one. That was like the big one. I was like, oh, I don't get it. But either way,
Sympathy for the Devil is a good song.
like, um, I've dealt with emotional things in the past,
Like we all have.
and I think getting to My Chemical Romance this year was in contextualizing a lot of that, putting things in a different perspective for me. One of my friends likened it to a quarter life crisis. So it was like a second puberty of like feeling some of those huge emotions again and like really jiving with these kinds of songs. Second puberty is something that a fair amount of LGBT people have, where it's like this is your 20s or when you're finally allowed to live freely, live your life. So you're kind of going through everything again. I'm sure to it there. But like, yeah. 2019 in music is like discovering My Chemical Romance.
Man, just wait until you discover brand new. Oh, you're gonna have the fun of going like, oh man, they just get me. Oh man, this lyrics is deep. Oh man, Jesse Lacey is a pedophile. Fuck.
I haven't touched that yet. I haven't touched Bright Eyes either.
Oh boy. Anyway, so we're about to showcase, when I say this, just how big of a difference some certain albums are, which that we've had in our opinions. And we're not getting into this one though, however, because my number 3 is Got Ye's Like Drawing Blood. Which means that
Number 6.
yeah, which means that an album that I have, like, obviously we kind of just figured this out, it's already top 3, but an album that I'm choosing next week I consider in the top 2 here. And like Drawing Blood, I'm just going to quickly get into before you do your number 2. This is an Australian classic. Again, this is one that I threw as a massive curveball because I started off just doing really underground acts that you won't have heard outside of Australia. I think Tism only in like Wales or something like that, something obscure they had a fandom in. And Gautier is not a no-name act. Everyone knows somebody that I used to know. It was the international hit everywhere. But Like Drawing Blood is completely different to that song. It is a much more just haunting pop of an album, and there was some really impressive shit that's going on in there. It is considered an Australian classic for a reason, and that is why it remained high on this list till probably the end of the podcast.
That brings a good question. Are we going to keep this list going into next year, or are we going to start a 2020 list on top of it?
I think we'll figure out that when the time comes.
Enough.
Your number 2. I think we know what it is, but go your number 2.
Middle East, according to the Middle East, it is like I'm not going to rehash EPLP, but as an EP, pleasant, very dark, emotional too, but just kind of like it's melt in your mouth chocolate. It's just great. It's all around just perfect. Like, not perfect, I guess. I think there are some stuff in there that I could do without, like, or how we pronounce that. But what it's doing, I just am really a fan of, and like, I compare it to albums that I really, really like My Chemical Romance. I was like, wouldn't that be number 2? Because I really like it. Like, again, the same way I like number 1. It's like I started listening to the Middle East again last night to kind of check that. It's like, no, I still like the Middle East more for whatever reason.
You hear it first. I do the vow to make sure that I do Middle East album. I want that you are always happy. Oh, sorry. I want that you are always happy on this podcast one day. I don't think it's as good as that EP, but again, it's one of those things that the only song people know is Blood, and that's just because it's been played in a couple movies. But even so, people don't. It's not a recognizable name. This
Look at the original version.
hmm, Middle
Curious how I
East
feel.
is one of the biggest what if bands just that I know of. They had so much potential, and whilst they have been doing a couple one-off shows recently, I can't see them ever coming back and doing that full album again. It's a band that had so much potential, and they kind of just felt like they had done everything.
In a way, it's kind of amazing we've only covered 4 acts that have like completely stopped so far. You know,
Yeah, those acts are, if I recall correctly, Diary of Planet has stopped. My Chemical Romance has stopped. Middle East has stopped, and our number ones has stopped, which is I'm just hiding it because of the fun dramatic, but we all know what it is because I said that we're going to be sharing number one, and my number two is not. It has already been mentioned, way down the list, and I want to explain. Put aside the controversies to this band if you know of them. Just put aside for this
we'll get
why
into the
we're getting into the
content next week.
controversies next week because they are important to talk about. This album, whilst I don't only just find it, I find it incredibly impressive, also goes above a lot of these albums. It's a testament to how impressive and how much emotional attachment I find for my number one that this becomes number two is Sticky Fingers Land of Pleasure. Now, I've talked a little bit about how I've had times in which, I haven't felt happy. I mean, teenager, of course, everyone feels that at that time. And everyone has their own ways of like dealing with sadness. Some people turn to hardcore drugs, doesn't turn out well. Some people, I mean, just turn to like sports or hobbies, and I turn to music. Music has always just been my kind of escape. There's no real pretentious side out of this or anything. This is just it's just what I was doing. And Land of Pleasure was a really important album for me, listening to it. Songs like Gold Snafu were pretty much just my happy song. Like, if I just needed a song that would just make me feel happy, Land of Pleasure, like, not, fuck, Gold Snafu would just do that. It's why I have it this high.
I
Again,
can
there's
understand that.
there's
Yeah.
so much controversy to talk about with this band that even like I swear I've seen more controversial news articles about this band than I have seen about bands that have broken up due to rape allegations, due to like huge physical assaults that happened on stage. Although Sticky Fingers did do a couple of the assaulting each other, so that probably explains that one. I mean, I've seen more articles about this band than I have about Good Dukes and the whole underage sex to let people into their gigs. And there was so much that we had to kind of just talk about next week that I think this album still does relate to. And there was so much that I keep unpacking from this album.
It's kind of like how I felt with Crystal Castles, except you still really like it, where I don't as much.
Which means that without any further ado, we don't need to say it. We both share number one, and Trick shared it as well. Number one across the board. And you were young, you were the king of carrot flowers.
See, that's the funny thing is that our number 1 and our number 28, 29, or whatever the hell,
Number 20.
that
Yeah, yeah. It's the only
those are
things
the
that we
only one
share.
stuff is close, but those are the only 2 things that we share. Which is why I like this podcast, which is why I think Dissonant Waves is an appropriate name, because we have very different wavelengths.
I mean, you can't ever truly listen to any airplane over the sea and say anything other than it's amazing. It's got a
People do.
huge meme status, and people will mock it for its meme status. And yeah, that's fun. I join in with the memeing. But when we go down through a really serious analysis of this album, it's amazing. Jeff Magnum's voice, in the way that he sings so passionately and vividly, you just get lost in this album. It is 40 minutes in length, and yet it covers more than I see stuff cover in 2 hours.
It is, again, it is one of the albums that is perfect from beginning to end, and also one that I have emotional attachment to.
I feel like when we go
We can talk about
deeper into this podcast as well, In the Airplane Over the Sea might not be my number 1 in the end. There are some other albums in which I put above Land of Pleasure, which I probably put at the same category as In the Airplane Over the Sea. I'll put it this way: from Cry of Ferocity to Land of Pleasure, I think these albums are 10 out of 10s. But I would give Neutral Milk Hotel an 11 out of 10. Because albums are perfect, but this is just perfect and beyond.
the thing too is that when I put on My Chemical Romance, I thought that would be like a number 2 or something like that, but to have it bumped down to number 3 even, I think is surprising to me. So it might just be that some of these albums, you'll feel different once you put them through the podcast ringer.
This has been a surprisingly long minisode, by the way. We are up to 52 minutes on the dot right there. So we are going to kind of just wrap this up because it's 11:05 for me. I got to go sleep. Dominic has to do whatever Dominics do. So
it's morning here.
I'm just going to go back through my rankings. Not going to explain any of the albums again. Number 28 was LSD. Number 27, BTS. Troye Sivan after that. Tristan's Sneaker Waves. Devin Townsend, Hot Flush Heat Wave. Bag Raiders at number 22. Crystal Castles. And then top 20, Smash Mouth, Health, Petite League. Janelle Monáe, My Chemical Romance. Taco Cat, Adult Mum. Plush, Violent Soho. Claypool Lennon, Delirium. And our top 10, Tism's Machiavelli and the Four Seasons. Of Montreal, Southsea of Sylvan Diarrhea Planets, Umbrage Beyond Your Wildest Dreams. Jungle Giants, Cry of Ferocity. Big Scary Animals. Coming in at number 5, I put Last Dinosaurs in a Million Years. Number 4 was the Middle East recordings of the Middle East EP. Number 3, Got Yates Like Drawing Blood. Number 2, Sticky Fingers Land of Pleasure. And of course, number 1, Neutral Milk Hotels in the Airplane Over the Sea. Dominic, would you like to go through yours?
Yes. All right. Number 28, I think it is. Whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, number 28 for me, LSD. Number 27 for me is Hot Flash Heatwave. 26, Diarrhea Planet. 25 is Tism. Key Fingers. 23 is Claypool Lennon Delirium. Source. 21 is Tristan. 20 is Bag Raiders. 19 is Adult Mom. Violent Soho. 17 is Taco Cat. 16 is Troye Sivan. And right here, I'm going to say, for me, since I include the Aiden Alexander singles, this is where I would slot them in between Health and my number 14, Smash Mouth. 13 is Petite League's Rattler. Number 12 is Crystal Castles. The first one, at least. Number 11 is Plush's Stranger to the Pain. Giants Quiet Ferocity. Number 9 is BTS Map of the Soul Persona. Number 8 is Of Montreal's Lousy with Sylvian Breyer. On Project's Addicted. Number 6 is Gautier's Like Drawing Blood. 8 is Dirty Computer. 4 is the Big Scary's Animal. Romance is The Black Parade, of course. It's Recordings of the Middle East, and number 1, and The Aeroplane Over the Sea by Neutral Milk Hotel.
So from what I can just gather from all the albums here that were just listed, what is the highest one of yours that you have submitted that I haven't listened to in full before? Or like any of it before? Because
Question?
Neutral Milk Hotel, I don't listen, is the one that you submitted, but we had all pretty much heard it before.
So the one that I've submitted that you guys have...
That I'd never actually listened to in full before, before the podcast, and it's the actual highest, is Janelle Monáe's Dirty Computer.
Highest is of Montreal, isn't it?
Oh, sorry, no, yeah, no, sorry, that's my bad. Yeah, of Montreal's last name was Silvenbro.
I think for Tricks, their listing was kind of the same as yours, but Janelle Monáe was pretty down there.
And whilst Big Scary and Middle East have been big staples in the ranking lists.
I mean, it's easier just to say that the only one I've really heard of before this was Gautier. And so I on the list I'm so high. Big thing is that I don't have any of Trix's albums until number 11's Plush. So Jake's out, unfortunately.
And with that, I think that's going to wrap up our rankings, kind of turned into a hour-long episode here, while we're creeping up to 57 minutes here. You can catch me at villainforkids.github.io. I also have a YouTube, which I'll link into the description.
And I'm Dominic. You can catch me on Twitter at DACICHOCKI. I write for tiltingwindmillstudios.com and sometimes other places as well. And you can see all of us on the Dissonant Waves Twitter. We're currently posting our archive of episodes so far. They're soon too as well, so you can follow us on Twitter if you like, at Dissonant Waves.
That's probably going to do us for the whole episode. I am going to end it with a recommendation to a song again. I'm just currently looking through the CDs here, so if you've got anything else to say, or even a song for you to recommend at the end of this episode, please go ahead.
I don't have anything prepared for songs.
Me neither, that's why I'm just looking for the CDs, man.
I have a CD right here next to my laptop I just bought.
Ooh.
It's Gerald, Pure Ella. It's it's like Ella sings Gershwin, but with like other 12 songs thrown on there as well. It's kind of weird, but I'm into it. I dig it.
Fair enough. Sorry, it's just like when you have so many CDs and stuff, you end up fucking yourselves for choice. But you know what? I'm going to go with a song off an album which I will not be covering, although the opening track to it is such a great folk song. Well, it's kind of like
Never Say Never.
It's like this. It's a song by the Paper Kites called Electric Indigo, which is off their album 12/4, which is not executed well enough for me to really start going into it. There's not much to talk about, but the whole concept is somewhat interesting, in which the whole theory is that your creative process is at its best during the hours of 12 a.m. and 4 a.m., so they wrote this whole album during those hours only. So I choose the opening to that, Electric Indigo, by the Paper Kites.
Good for us.
See you next time.
We'll see you when you wake up, Tricks, I guess.
Wake up, Trax. Bye.